Welcome to Jets Talk. My name's Ryan. I'll be your pilot. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button. If you've been here before, welcome back. I love having you here. Boys and girls, the daycare train has been kicking my butt. I've been sick for the last 2 months. Now I got pink eye. Someone's farting on my pillow. I'm not too thrilled about it. But we're going to work through this. I got a little bit of news to cover. Not news, but more of a discussion point. And this is, should the New York Jets draft defensive tackle Jalen Carter if he falls to pick number 13? Now, Jalen Carter is considered by many to be either the best player in the draft or one of like the top 3 players. And the Jets seemingly are in a dire need for a defensive tackle. We have brought in a few players, retained a few guys. We obviously have Quinnen Williams under contract, looking at a long-term deal for him, but also looking outside as well. We tried to bring in Fletcher Cox. We talked about Calais Campbell. Now there's the situation, could Jalen Carter fall maybe out of the top 10? And if the Jets are sitting there at number 13, would you pull the trigger on trying to bring in this type of talent here? And for me, I'm torn on it because I feel like a lot of Jet fans are looking back and they're saying, oh man, I remember the Warren Sapp draft and all the Jet fans chanting, we want Sapp. We want Sapp. And then the Jets wind up going with the tight end. And I think there's a little bit of me that is concerned, like, man, you have the best player in the draft potentially dropping to you at 13. You should just run up to the podium and make the selection here. And I think there's something to be said for that. Now, as far as Jalen Carter, you know, the person and maybe the prospect that's going in, the on-the-field talent is absolutely awesome. We heard back in December, though, that there might have been a few character concerns. Then in January, he winds up having, I guess he was racing his car with another, I guess it was teammate or coach or whatever that was friends, or I don't know the exact circumstances, but basically 2 people wound up losing their lives because of it, and he wound up, I guess, fleeing the scene of the accident. I think that's what he wound up getting charged with. But basically, this news broke during the NFL Combine. He was doing interviews at the Combine, and then it was like arrest warrant came out. He had to leave to go back to Athens, Georgia, and then I guess post bail, come back to the Combine. So like that was already weird. Like, what sort of judgment were you having prior to the Combine? And then while you were at the Combine, did you let teams know that this was kind of going on and this could potentially cause some, you know, maybe some legal issues or you know, there could be a cloud kind of hanging over your head. And I feel like if you're not fully honest with NFL teams, especially when they're picking really high in the draft and they're devoting a lot of assets, both financially and draft pick wise, to select you, they're going to want to know the truth about a lot of stuff. So he could have been very forward prior to that, but I get the feeling that he may not have realized it was coming and then maybe didn't say what, you know, maybe he should have in the interviews. But either way, he winds up coming back to the NFL Combine, goes through some of the, I guess, interview processes. So then everyone's kind of focused on his pro day. He doesn't do any of the testing at the Combine, but the pro day is kind of the next one where it's like, okay, this guy's a stud. Let's see how he performs. He winds up going into his pro day. He's like 9 pounds overweight, looks horrible in drills, and now he's like sluggish and like, dude, this is the biggest job interview of your life, and you're telling me you screwed up the Combine, and now you know your ass is on the line for the pro day. And you can't get up to do that? Dude, that rubbed me the wrong way. That was the first thing that was like I could have gotten around like the off the field sort of stuff where it was like, man, you know, you make a mistake. I understand that. You know, the Jets have a strong locker room. We could build up this guy's confidence, and we have the leaders around that we could lift this guy up. Then there's a report that comes out, you know, shortly after his pro day where he's not even going to interview with teams outside the top 10. That's a whole hell of a lot of entitlement, if you're asking me, when you got all this other shit going on. So if I'm the Jets sitting at 13, you're telling me I probably did not, or at least did not have a top 30 visit with Jalen Carter, and now you want me to invest at least a, you know, pick 13 in the guy. So for me, I'm sitting here, I'm looking at this, and I'm saying, you know, I don't know if this necessarily passes the sniff test for me. And it's a different type of feeling, or I would say maybe a similar type of feeling, but a different circumstance to sort of how I felt last year about Kayvon Thibodeau. And it wasn't off the field stuff with Kayvon Thibodeau, but it was more so personality traits that just kind of I don't know, it just kind of rubbed me the wrong way. And I was like, I don't know if that's really a Joe Douglas, Robert Saleh kind of guy. And lo and behold, they take Sauce, who is like the ultimate, Robert Saleh and Joe Douglas guy, and the guy's a defensive rookie of the year. So I do think part of that personality trait is highly valued by our coaching staff and our GM. We've brought in tons of captains across, the 3 drafts that they've gone through, or whatever it is at this point. So when I look at Jalen Carter, I say, I'm not so sure that's the guy. I actually really like his teammate, Nolan Smith, who's got like fantastic character traits, and he runs like a 4.39 40 as a edge rusher / kind of linebacker. But the Jets don't really have a spot for him. But I would I kind of really like Nolan Smith a lot for everything he brings to the field, even though it doesn't necessarily fit a need for the New York Jets right now. But Jalen Carter is kind of that player that sort of falls into my, I think I'll pass. Not, he might be a great player. And that's totally fine. If the Jets wind up passing on him, the only thing is we got the friggin' Patriots sitting behind us, and it would really burn me up if we pass on Jalen Carter and then he goes to the Patriots, and then it's like basically Vince Wilfork all over again, and you got like some stud defensive tackle that you got to go against for the next 15 years. I don't know. This is a really tough one for me because defensive tackle is definitely a need. The Jets could have potentially the best player in the draft fall to them, but I don't know. It makes me feel like I would prefer another route, or I would prefer someone else to maybe take the risk on him. I really hope this guy gets drafted before the 13th pick because I don't want to have to come to this type of decision. For me, you're sending a statement to the rest of your team, hey, pick 13. This guy's more valuable than all the other players in the draft for us. There's going to be probably 4 quarterbacks taken ahead of us, which means you're getting a top 10 non-quarterback pick if you're the New York Jets. Are you ready to tell the rest of your team, this is the guy that we believe in so much to kind of lead us, at least this draft class into the future? I don't know. I want to hear what you guys have to say because I definitely understand if Jet fans want to go with the talent. The personality side of things, I don't know, kind of rubs me the wrong way. So guys, let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. And as always, go Jets.